when we look at the ZPA piece of view, this is a little bit more intuitive in my mind. You create app connector groups for the individual locations. What we're able to do there is just look through the individual applications. So I've got a number of these that are running off of IP because I don't have a comprehensive DNS solution for the lab. Others which are using FQDN, and you can see here we're looking at specific ports on those individual servers. So that lab 1 W001, which is actually my, where my AD is hosted, we can see the 445.389.135 and then that wildcard port, and those are all considered individual applications. So I can build policy that allows certain things but not others.
If you were going to push the client agents, what are the various ways that you can do that?
So within the portal, we can provide you the ability just to download it, package that through SCCM, Intune, or whichever of the MDM packages you're looking at. For iOS, I think you've got things like Jamf, which I've never used, but I know is quite popular.
I'm Jamf certified.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I was working with a guy today that was pushing Mac OS with Jamf. So yeah, so any of those sort of traditional bits. The agent itself, within your app profile, you've got a flag for pushing the Zscaler certificate, which you see sort of doesn't see very well here, but this one here. When that profile's pulled, it will then push the Zscaler SSL cert for doing all of that SSL decryption and so on. Nuances around Firefox and the way that that absorbs the cert. I've seen that in a few places, which is because Firefox doesn't generally use the trusted root certs in the same way as other browsers.
How do you get updated? I mean, do you guys update your client agent?
So there's a way of getting it just to sort its own life out once you've done the initial install, or you would just push that when you want to. And again, that I believe is managed over on here. So, automatic rollout, I've just selected always latest version. And then within the individual screens, we can see the Windows, Mac OS, Linux versions that I've enabled. And again, I think under new releases, I can then, here I've got 380.102 for Windows as being the enabled build. And that'd be the same for Mac. And looks like I need to update that one.
Yeah.
And there's some limited availability ones as well if you wanted to. So these ones generally, generally they would be more up to date, but I've just noticed that my Windows one is at 380.100 and I'm at 380.102 in GA. So that's interesting. I have to have a chat with somebody about why that one's limited release. It's older than the current. But yeah, so really easy to configure and to push. And again, you can manage these profiles in different ways from different devices because you can create profiles that are based on individual platforms and you can then assign them to individual groups and or users. You can lock down, so if I enter a logout password here, for example, what that means is that a user will need to enter a password before they can log out or disable or exit and so on, depending on which of these boxes I fill in.
Do a lot of people do that?
Yes, because you don't want your users to bypass the security controls necessarily. Because if you turn off the client connector, then you're just straight to internet when you're off the network, which isn't necessarily desirable. You can also throw in custom packs. So if you've got a hosted pack file, we host pack file, you can upload your stuff, then you can have that here as well. A lot of people start with the internet access, then move on to private access and other aspects of the platform. So as they roll things out, things will generally change in this port.
That's cool.
Yeah. And you get that overview of what's being used, what's it installed on, and so on. I only have one Mac and one iOS device, which is why they're so low. Allegedly, I've deployed a ridiculous number of Windows devices, which are all going to be based on sort of virtual machines that I've killed and so on over time. All in all, really happy with this. It's been great for me. Brilliant. So yeah, if you do have questions, do let me know, and I can probably put something specific together.
Okay.
What are your plans at the minute, Lisa? What are you working on? When we're all
I
good?
was kind of interested in some of the analysis, stuff like they had started to drill down into how to go into some of the environments where you could look at like a piece of malware and figure out what the website was that it came from, all that.
Yeah.
Cool.
I want to get, because we've got a big release coming in the next few months, and part of that is for some reason they called it Iris. I don't know why, but it's basically full context reports. So the alerts will have MITRE, CVEs, what the risk is and so on, all included, rather than just going, there's a problem over here and expecting you to do some phishing. So it's only available with like our top tier, I think, our transformational piece, but it's going to bring down your mean time to resolution on instant investigation, because it's going to hand you exactly what the issue is, which I think is great.
Yeah, that's neat.
But again, that's in one of the next releases. They're also bringing in a lot of ML AI around when to invoke things like cloud browser isolation. So you'll be able to do that based on risk score, which you'll calculate however it calculates it. Idea there is not necessarily about doing anything other than reducing the technical debt with configuration, because you won't need to worry so much about policy, because it will be based on that risk score rather than you selecting specific URL categories, for example. Well, I think I may go and check on the kids.
Right, I'm going to
Sounds
go
good.
They're actually asleep. Lisa, it's good to see you. If you could throw your best insult at your husband, I'd really appreciate that.
I'd be happy to.
Thank you. And yeah, Malander, I'll see you Friday, Saturday. And I've got to remember to pick up your server and put it in the car.